The greatest performers have always been able to make audience members not only suspend their disbelief, but suspend their inquisitive nature to find out how it was done until after they have absorbed the entire performance. Because they are so caught up in the magic, so caught up in the mystery, that they're not thinking, how did you do that? They're in another land.
You know, Santa Claus has a lot of whiskers. And he doesn't sleep much at night on account of his whiskers. He doesn't know whether to put the whiskers underneath the blanket or over the blanket. Now, should he put his whiskers under the blanket, which tickled him. Should he put his whiskers over the blanket, almost chokes him. And you lift his whiskers up someday, and you'll find he hasn't got a necktie on. You know why? He gave it to me one night while he was asleep. I took it. Here it is, and I tear it in two. It gives me 2 parts. Again tearing this part in 2. And here's where I fool you. Causing one to link within the other. Now figure that out.
People have to like you. People have to, admire your character before you become a great anything, let alone magician.
I'm going to show you just how to do it. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. First, rip it. Then, tear it to get to the breaking point. That's where they link together. But to disconnect them, 1 circle of cloth. Did I say 1? My mistake. There's 2. Were you watching?
You're there to make people happy and enjoy and laugh. Laughter is one of the prime ingredients of magic as far as I'm concerned. If you laugh, then actually that helps the magic, because while you're laughing, your attention is a little bit broken and you can get away with things.
Cardini did a very ordinary act initially. Then the producer said, why don't you act the part of a gentleman who is slightly tipsy, and when you reach out in the air and produce cards, you don't produce them with the magical attitude, hey, look how clever I am, I've produced a fan of cards out of the air, because I've read the instructions, you haven't, so I'm very clever, you're a twit. And that, which I think is the worst possible way to present magic.
It was a play, and all these magical things were happening to him. So you had this marriage of great theater and great sleight of hand, and perhaps the greatest sleight of hand artist of our century.
When Cardini became established in the 1930s, the quality of his act and the success he had with it was so strong that suddenly that was the model of the magician. And that stayed that way for 20-odd years, until Channing Pollock came along. He really did command the forces of nature. I mean, this guy would walk out and he was perfect. I mean, he was matinee idol handsome. He was tall. He was just impeccable. And he would just do magic.
was the archetypal performer. He was elegant. What he did was slow and smooth and mysterious. But what I particularly liked about it was the fact that clearly what he was doing, it was his own skill that was doing it. When you see him just doing things with his hands very slowly, you know that that is purely, it's his work that's doing that. There's nothing else. And just that point at which he just takes 4 cards and they just vanish one at a time, and it's just done so slowly. And it's amazing because you're fooled by it. You know he's almost sort of playing with you. It's almost a little game. And when he produces them one at a time, when that last card comes into view, it's so slow, it's really almost cheeky. He's almost sort of saying, there it is, I fooled you all along. And it's done in such a good-natured style. There's not a sense of arrogance about it at all. It literally is just him sort of doing his act, and you're just watching it and appreciating it for what it is. And I just thought he had everything. He would have been a success at whatever he'd done, but it just all came together in the Magic Act.